Like personally, I felt in 2007 when we lost the World Cup, and at that point of time when we landed, there was no way out. So actually, we had to get out in a police van, in a PCR, and I was sitting next to in the Sehwag, and it was evening or night time. So we were traveling at a decent speed, maybe 60 or 70. At 60, 70 for India, so it's quite a bit on the narrow road. And there were media cars around us with their camera and a big light on top. And it felt as if we have committed some kind of a big crime, maybe like a murderer or terrorist or something like that. And we were actually chased by them. And after a while, maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes, we actually entered a police station. We went there, we sat for a while, and we're like, okay, we'll get the cars. We sat in the car and we left after 15, 20 minutes. So that actually had a big impact, when it comes to me.
After a premature exit from the world's biggest cricket stage, the Indian cricket team went through one of its worst phases ever in 2007. With a star-studded squad and a couple of regulation wins to sail into the next round, arrangements were made long before a prolonged stay in the Caribbean islands. An initial jolt against neighbours Bangladesh was hard to foretell, as Rahul Dravid's men were thumped, courtesy of 5-wicket defeat to the Tigers. The demand of the new group format was simple. India had to defeat debutants Bermuda next, and former champion Sri Lanka in their final group game to make it to the Super 8. A win over the rookies did give India some respite, but against Sri Lanka, India crashed a 69-run defeat, and that meant their exit from the 2007 ODI World Cup. And that's where the downward spiral began. A 2-day break according to the schedule was supposed to be a breather ahead of the Super 8 stage, but it turned out to be a torture. The Indian team, without a ticket, was stranded in Port of Spain, Trinidad, only to head back home in the earliest possible flight. Virendra Sehwag, back then one of the fiercest batsmen in the format, confined himself into the hotel room for 2 straight days, without the services of the housekeeping too. That pretty much summed up the mood of the entire squad. Emotions flow high when the national team plays cricket. A group stage exit escalated the rage even further. What followed in the aftermath of the debacle was something never seen before. In fact, MS Dhoni, still not a superstar that he went on to become at that stage, bore the brunt of the situation. Around 200 fans flocked to his house in Ranchi, bringing down the pillars of the structure. The wicketkeeper batsman, who was sent back to the pavilion without scoring a single run in the Bangladesh game, had his property guarded by state authorities after protesters burnt effigies and hurled abuses. Ahmedabad was treated with a similar fate, as people took to the streets to burn effigies of skipper Rahul Dravid and also scream slogans against Virendra Sehwag. The mood in the eastern city of Kolkata, who are normally known for its passionate fans, also followed suit. The hero worship turned into a hate fest overnight. MS Dhoni, a few years down the line, revealed how he and Virendra Sehwag were terrorized by the wild reception once they landed in New Delhi, India. Traversing through a police van in Delhi, the fast-moving vehicle was surrounded by cameras and light, giving them a fugitive on-the-run feel before the duo were rushed to a police station nearby and were shipped by cars. In fact, MS Dhoni went on to say exactly this. Substantial changes in the roster were enforced following the quadrennial event, which saw the curtains drawn to the infamous Greg Chappell era. It was MS Dhoni who was bestowed the responsibility of putting the pieces together going forward, at least for the white ball scheme of things. And he did not let down. Gathering a bunch of experienced and newbies, the Ranchi boys slammed right back at the critics by steering India to an emphatic T20 World Cup win later that year, and a 50-over World Cup win 4 years later on home soil. It has to be said though, Indian cricket has gone through quite a few turmoils, but the 2007 episode certainly remains one of the darkest ones. Thanks so much for watching this cricket.com classic video. Please subscribe to more videos like this. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from us.